So here's your News 8 Storm Team forecast for Churchtown in Lancaster County and the rest of the Susquehanna Valley. It's going to be a sunny day, a little bit cooler than it should be at this time of year. And we'll see some high clouds filtering in. 7 in Reading as well, 86 in Lancaster. And what I'm going to show you now is the dew point. This is a way meteorologists, we measure how sticky the air feels out there. You see it's very close to that 70-degree mark, if not at or over that 70-degree mark. I always like to bring out the muggy meter at this time to give you an idea of just how uncomfortable that feels. And we're up here almost in that tropical range. And that's going to continue tomorrow. And then we're going to see some relief as we go from tomorrow night into the day on Friday. Friday we'll be back to more comfortable ranges with our dew points in the 50s. And then actually it's been such a cold winter, I want to do something a little bit different tonight and interact a little bit with our viewers. There's a link there on the screen, tinyurl.com/WGAL8. Earlier tonight on our Facebook page, I asked you, the viewers, after the cold winter, how do you feel so far about April? And I gave you 3 choices. It's still too cold, just right, or it got warm too fast. The overwhelming response was it's still too cold. 73% of you said. In reality, this April is just right. In fact, April temperatures are slightly above where they should be at this time of year. So if we look at the current temperatures across the east, you can see there's that warm air down by the Gulf. Here's that chillier air coming in around high pressure off to our north. Now that high is moving away. The storm is going to move closer and this warm air is going to come in, and that's going to affect our weather going into tomorrow. As I asked you at the beginning of the show, how was July's weather compared to normal? And you responded, and most of you answered that you thought July was colder than it should be. We've had a couple of hot Julys the past couple of years, and of course we did have that cold winter. But actually we were what you consider just right. You actually can't get more normal than July of 2014. Only 4 days were above average, with our hottest day July 2nd, 92 degrees. 56 was our coolest temperature just last Wednesday, only 3 days below average. All these other days were average. Temperature-wise, we were right where we should be, and precipitation-wise as well. If you go to our Facebook page, Storm Team WGAL, you can answer this question. Are you ready for the return of the cold weather? Simple yes or no. Of course, on social media, we've been asking today, are you ready for the return of cold weather? And so far in the Susquehanna Valley, the answer is a resounding no. We had some snow Monday night in the valley, we had some snow yesterday, and we might get some snow on Saturday. That would be 3 times we have measurable snow in the week. The last time we had that happen was back in February 2010. That was our last real big weather event where we had, a 3-inch storm on Groundhog Day, but then we had an 18-inch coastal storm, and then a 16-inch which just followed it later that week. Our normal high is 86 at this time of year, and we're in the middle of another heat wave that started on Sunday at 90, 92 on Monday, 96 yesterday, anticipating another high of 96 today. If you didn't like yesterday's weather, you're not going to like it this afternoon. But there is some relief coming with a cold front dropping down from the south. That's going to get rid of some of this heat. We are, again, under a heat advisory as your body is going to work like it's over 100 in this afternoon. So again, take it easy. If you're headed outside, drink plenty of water. Consider turning on that AC. If you are indoors, it's a hot one. There's the heat advisory. New Providence here in Lancaster County and the rest of the Susquehanna Valley, hazy, hot, and humid. Today is October 12th, and it could get quite chilly, as you know, this time of year. In fact, if we take a look at the earliest morning where these different towns have hit 32 degrees or lower, you see it mainly happens in September, but notice here in Lancaster, the earliest freeze we ever had was October 12th, back in 1996. So from this point on, the chill is going to start to arrive. If we look at the previous week, it's the end of December, and this is the first week we're really talking about snow. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say that when they were kids, they remember it snowing a lot earlier. And in fact, they're correct. The average first date for snowfall as of now is about December 19th in Harrisburg. But in the 90s, it was December 11th. And check this out. The 80s, 1970s, it was December 2nd. So that date of first snow is definitely moving later and later in the calendar year. And we do have some snow in the News 8 Storm Team forecast. How many states have snow somewhere on the ground right now out of 50, Meredith? Yes? 49 out of the 50 states have snow on the ground. The one that is letting us down today is Hawaii. Now you might think, well, Hawaii, that makes sense. They shouldn't have snow. But in fact, they have some very tall mountains there, and frequently they have 12, 13 inches of snow as we head into February and March. But here's a look at the snow cover across the United States. Yes, even Florida got into the act yesterday. And out here in the Rocky Mountains, we do have some deep snowpack too. Everywhere you see purple right now, that's where we have 2 feet or more on the ground. You see out there in the west, up here in the Dakotas and Minnesota, and right here in the Susquehanna Valley, as well as northern Maine. So kind of the bullseye of the last couple storms, as you know, has passed through here. There's some meteorologists doing some research. They believe that this is the most extensive snow cover that we've ever had on weather record.
A little cooler today, but still hot.
That's right. It's still hot, and not as hot as yesterday when we had those storms. Take a look at yesterday's high temperatures once again. Most places were above 100 degrees. Now I'm going to slide those numbers over, and these were the highs this afternoon. So still in the low 90s, but about 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday, and most of the heat is off to our south. 2012 is officially the warmest year on record for the entire United States. Our average temperature was 3.2 degrees above average. Doesn't seem like a lot, but compared to the previous record year, 1998, it's 1 degree above that record. That's a substantial amount. In the summertime, at one point, 61% of our country was in drought at its maximum. The hottest temperature, now this is the hottest record high temperature of the year, was Beaver Dam, Arizona, where they hit 121. North Pole, Alaska, the record lowest temperature, 57 below zero. Locally here in Harrisburg, 101 was our hottest, 11 was our coldest, and we had 7 days that stayed under 32 degrees. That's unusual. Usually that should be 20 days in the winter. We had a mild winter last year. We have some mild days coming up after we get through some of this fog. Here's our sky cam in Lancaster. Let's take a look back at 2013, which was a wet year. In fact, after a dry September, we got a quarter of our rain in the month of October, which set a record for that month. And I have a snowflake here in December because that's the only month in the whole year where we actually had a little bit of a snowpack on the ground. Temperature-wise, we were exactly where we should be. The warm months of January and July counteracted the cooler months of March, August, and November. Our hottest temperature, 97, back on July 18th. 10 degrees was our coldest temperature. Keep that number in mind. We're going to get colder than that in the next 48 hours. And it's been a real dry season so far. Since September 1st, we've had just over 2.5 inches of rainfall. Now, that's 2.5 below where we should be. So we're only halfway to where we normally would be at this time of year. 8 days of measurable rain since September 1st, but 4 of those have come on weekends. Such is the case this weekend, where yesterday we had some rainfall, but today is going to be a dry day. Here we are on Tuesday. What's going to happen is this is going to cut off, and that little bowling ball of green there means we're going to have some unsettled weather. Clouds, spotty showers for the majority of the midweek. It's going to be also cooler as well. So in summary, yep, it's getting colder. It's going to stay sunny on Sunday, but it's going to be breezy as well, and then that's going to set us up for this unsettled midweek. Take a look at our high temperatures. Tomorrow, only 54. If we look at the rest of the 7-day forecast, here on Tuesday, that number 34, that's the low from Tuesday going into Wednesday. We've only had a low temperature above freezing one time so far in the calendar year 2014. And we actually have a red flag warning in effect on Thursday. Some of the Facebook followers were asking what that red flag warning is. And basically the National Weather Service is saying there's very dry conditions out there, and if you do any controlled burns with the wind, it could get out of control quickly. So that might be something you want to think about delaying. It's not something we see an awful lot here in eastern Pennsylvania. Thursday late afternoon is when the snow develops. It's light to start. It's heaviest in the overnight hours, up until about the midnight hour. So there'll be some times that it comes out at a moderate rate, but then the wind's going to pick up. It's going to start to blow around in the early morning hours on Friday. We'll make a little bit of a tricky commute Friday morning, and the gusty winds will continue through the day, and it's going to be just a brutally cold day, one we're not used to. These are the accumulations that we're looking for, generally 2 to 5 over the Susquehanna Valley, more off to the east than the northeast, so if you're headed that way, that's something to be aware of. So let's take a more detailed look then at your travel plans. Anywhere that you can drive on the highway within about 5 hours. Out towards Pittsburgh in the west, I-76, I-80, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures in the 50s. It's going to be in the 50s as well if you're headed up into the Poconos. Let's take a look at the high temperature yesterday in Alexandria, Minnesota. It was 68 degrees. That wasn't the coldest spot in the United States, but not that far away in Louisville. 68 degrees for a high. That's only 750 miles apart. There's a very strong cold front in this region. You can see looking at the temperatures right now. Here's that warm surge of air coming up through the Tennessee Valley, and the temperatures in the 60s, 58 in Cincinnati right now, 26 in Chicago, 1 below out in Denver. That cold air is trying to work its way in here. You can see the cold front right here in the middle of your screen. That's working its way towards the Susquehanna Valley, but the center part of the energy of the precipitation is moving off to our north. So let's go ahead and zoom in here in the valley, and we'll take a look at our News 8 predictor. That's right, and the buses will be rolling out in just a couple of hours. We'll see some clouds around in the morning, but then the afternoon will become seasonal, a high of 74. It's also going to be a little bit breezier tomorrow compared to today. For eastern Pennsylvania, putting us in the bullseye as far as the amount of rain we can expect. The chance of rain is very high. Heavy rain through about 7 o'clock tomorrow. Then those chances diminish as we get to more showery weather during the day on Sunday. So what you need to know in the forecast is very simple. It's going to be wet for most of this weekend. Well, plenty of sunshine. I wouldn't say warm. I'm looking at seasonal temperatures, about 62 this afternoon, 66 tomorrow, but with those warmer temperatures tomorrow brings the chance of scattered showers through Tuesday. Look at a high of 74, and then later on this week the temperature is going to drop after we get to Tuesday back to right around where we should be with a mixture of clouds and sun. When you bring the family to Branson, Missouri, you can take them to see a large replica Titanic, a giant banjo, or the world's largest rooster, or you can take them down to the racetrack. That's the Segway racetrack.
This here is the Chicago dog, the bratwurst, and the Italian. Enjoy, guys.
Thank you. We heard it's closing, so we definitely had to come check it out. But yeah, definitely hot dogs is one of the best places to come.
You might want to ask people if they'd wait in line to get into any other place other than this one. Today it's probably about 45 minutes. If you come here on a weekend, it's probably a few hours.
My name's Rebecca Long. I am Associate Curator of European Art before 1800 at the Indianapolis Museum of Art, which is where we are today.
And so you can completely change your look just with changing a wig.
So if you're going through a tough time in life, need a boost of confidence, or just need to feed that addiction, JJ's in the Wig District provides its customers with that opportunity.